Hi guys, in today's video I will be providing you guys with the next altcoin that I believe is about to pump. And that altcoin, guys, is Woo, ladies and gentlemen. Because what we can see over here is that Woo is potentially reclaiming a high time frame, very pivotal USDT range. Okay, later on I will also be discussing the Bitcoin pair on Woo that is looking ready to pump. But first of all, this high time frame range for Woo, what can we see? Range pivot number 1, range pivot number 2, and range pivot number 3 for the range low, and then a beautiful strong high over here for the range high pivot. Now, more importantly, when we look at the respect of the mid-range, when we look at the respect of the quarterly levels, we can see that it's getting respected very well. What we can see, and this is something that you know that I absolutely love, is that we have a first bigger deviation of the range low that is potentially being followed up by a second smaller deviation of the range low. Now, what we can see over here when we zoom in more locally to that price action near the range low level over here is that we were seeing this fake break of structure. Why is this a fake break of structure? Because this high and this high that we break through are not significant. Why? Because these highs that we broke through did not bring us to a fresh low compared to this low that brought us to that high. It only brought us to a higher low, making these highs insignificant to break. All that it's doing is putting in a fake break of structure. Many retail traders think that this is a valid break of structure, so they start breakout longing the price of Bitcoin over here, or they start pullback long the price of Bitcoin over here. Now, where are these people going to put their stop loss? They're either going to put their stop loss at this local low over here, or they're going to put their stop loss at this local low over here, in which we can see that the price of Woo afterwards took out both lows and afterwards is now trying to reclaim the range low area. And that is absolutely lovely to see. Now, if we zoom in even more locally, we obviously want to try and get to a potential trade setup. If you're not positioned yet in Woo, I am already very well positioned, but I will show you guys later on in today's video. First, I want to make sure that you guys are able to position yourself as well. And when we look at the local trend to the downside, what can we see? We can see that we form a high, higher low, higher high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. Now, these are not really lower highs in my opinion. So I think that in order to determine really the significant high to break, I think that we have found our significant high right over here. Now, what can we see is that so far, Woo is struggling to break through that high. What I want to see is that Woo is going to break through this high on the 4-hourly time frame. And what do I mean by breaking through this high? The thing is, the mistake that many traders make, especially beginning traders, is that in order to identify a break of structure, retail traders and the beginning traders, and there's nothing wrong with that, but I'm going to teach you guys the correct way to identify a market structure break or a break of structure, whatever you want to call it. Many beginning traders and retail traders think that a wick above a significant high or below a significant low is enough to call it a break of structure. Many traders think that a candle close above a significant high or a candle close below a significant low is enough to call it a valid break of structure. But actually, what we need in order to get a valid break of structure, guys, is a candle open and a candle close above a significant high or below a significant low to call it a valid break of structure. So now let's take Woo, for example, over here. We can see that so far we only wicked above that high twice. What I want to see on the 4-hourly time frame is that Woo is going to open and close a candle above the significant high, since it brought us to a fresh low compared to this low that brought us to that high. Once we open and close a candle above, we have our break of structure. Now that is our trigger in confluence with a massive sales and liquidity that has been swept over here, with a massive sales and liquidity that has been swept and mitigated over here, and the reclaim of that high time frame range low. If we are going to break structure over here, we have a new invalidation for a bullish thesis, which is now this low. Once we break structure, for now I think it is this low, because this is the low. It brought us to this high, or to this high, it brought us to this low. Okay. Now, if we are going to break through this high, we have a clean invalidation. And what you can do in that case is go to the lower time frame, identify another fake break of structure in that case, which is this high. That fake break of structure will engineer liquidity over here. Then you can wait for a sweep of that liquidity, enter a swing long, up on the sweep of the liquidity, put your stop loss beneath this invalidation over here, And what is our target? Our target is obviously that range high unmitigated liquidity pool. And that, guys, offers a beautiful RR of 13.33 for Woo, which is a beautiful RR trade, high probability setup. All that we need right now is to get one more confirmation, which is on a 4-hourly time frame. But guys, don't forget that what I'm about to show you is the Woo against Bitcoin chart, and that one is giving us the confirmation that we should be looking on longs and buy positions on Woo against dollar. Guys, like I said, I'm already holding 4 different long positions on Woo. Believe it or not, when we started long in Woo over here, we found a new invalidation and we added another long position over here, which is our second long. We shaved 50% profits over here at the range high liquidity pool. So what did I do? I decided to re-add that profit that we took at the top on the higher low over here, which was our first add-on order, and on the higher low over here at the local mid-range over here, which was our second add-on order. Right now holding 4 different long positions on Woo. Everything has been called beforehand with exact entry points, stop loss and take profit target, and exact risk that we should take on this trade in my Discord server. If you guys want to join the Discord server, the free link can be found in the description down below. Right now, guys, let's dive into the Woo against Bitcoin chart. And like I said, guys, this chart is giving us the confirmation that we should be looking for longs. What can we see? We can see a high probability range, an all-time low over here forming the first pivot for that range low. Over here, strong high forming the first pivot for the range high, and we have a second pivot for the range high over here. What happens is that we sweep the range high liquidity pool, and after sweeping the range high liquidity pool, we push towards the range low liquidity pool. What are we looking at right now? A sweep of the range low liquidity pool. That sweep on the 3-day time frame left behind a pretty big wick. Now we know that these wicks, they tend to get filled for 50%. And what can we see? The price exactly filled that 50% level of that wick right over here. And while filling it for 50%, we also retested that range low level over here. Not only did we fill 50% of that wick and retested the range low level in a successful manner, but if we check the 3-day time frame RSI, what can we see? We can see that the price action was forming a lower low with the candle closes, and the RSI at the same time was forming a slight higher low over here, creating a bullish divergence on the 3-day time frame near range lows. And this is a super strong sign for a potential bullish reversal. What I would like to see right now on Woo is to get another structural break over here on the 3-day time frame by opening and closing candles above this high. I think that after a sweep of the range low liquidity pool and a reclaim of the range low, potentially a successful reclaim of that range low, technically speaking, as long as that range low level holds, guys, we should always be expanding towards mid-range liquidity pools or towards range high liquidity. Now let's say we start expanding towards the mid-range over here on the Woo against Bitcoin chart. What can we see? That Woo will outperform Bitcoin by almost 70%. Let's say we start expanding towards the range high liquidity pool. That would mean that Woo starts outperforming Bitcoin by 150%. Guys, if we zoom out further, what are we looking at? We are looking at a beautiful reaccumulation range. After a huge downtrend, if you start moving sideways, the price is potentially reaccumulating. So we know that once the ranges like this, they break out over here, right? Let's say we break out, we should be expanding towards high time frame buy side liquidity. Let's say we start expanding towards that high time frame liquidity pool eventually. Woo will start outperforming Bitcoin by almost 300%. And let's say Bitcoin also increases from here a 2x towards 100k, maybe even 140k. And Woo starts outperforming Bitcoin by 300%. You can do the math yourself. Woo will massively start outperforming. Woo will massively start increasing towards new all-time highs. And if you start finding the correct swing long position right now, if you start finding the correct spot positions right now on Woo, you can potentially massively compound your profits along the way up and massively profit along the way up if Woo, I would say when Woo starts outperforming Bitcoin.